Right, so I'm going to start from the end of the minor. The end of the minor is a very interesting hirah. It's a simple word, but when you look into the word, you realize that it's not just another nice hirah and shmak and akudeh and kachazer. Because sometimes it's miyosid on the minor before, right? On the 10 sitting that precedes, if you will. So something very unique about this minor, especially the yachas to mamar when you look at, is that the minor finishes off with a very, very clear and basic hirah. Now, the fact that a minor has a hirah is not always the biggest chiddush, but very often the hirah can be very, very esoteric and very dakostic, right? And mamish, a person's avodah shouldn't be mitzad the ritzay, should be mitzad the atzmos. Whatever, you can have like very, very, tifa dargis and yonim. You had in the end of Pasach Aliyah, it speaks about the bittul mitzad ha'atzmos, the chilul d'asal das tachten, parshas nisim, the goshim yom nisim, and I don't say hirah, it's more the Indian of a bracha. Anyway, here, what's the hirah here at the end? So in Sif Yud Aleph, so he brings this nekudah of Abdi David, Melech Aleim, the Lasim of Melech Mashiach is called David. Why is he called David? Because David is bittul. And on das bringt sich in them that mitzad echad he'll be on the greatest level, tachas hagavos, and he learns Torah with Avos Moshe Rabbeinu. The fact that he's teaching Avos and Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu gave us the Torah, and he's teaching Moshe Rabbeinu for statement Shein, Rasfar Adarge, Melech Mashiach is, and yet he's with tachas ha'anava v'abitul, and he learns with the most simple people. Fine. So here there's like this Apiyah Yedua, that all the Giluyim of La'asit Tluyim v'ma'aseinu v'avodaseinu v'achshav, which this is a Yisoid, the Rebbe brings in Tanya, and the Rebbe's Torah is from the Yisoidei HaYisoidus, right? That everything that happens La'asit L'avai, it's not the pshat, we do our Avodah today, and we get some sort of schar, it's like, okay, do what you got to do, and Mashiach will come. But rather, schar and mitzvah, we have La'asit L'avai is a hemshich of, and a giloy of what we have today. So kumteis, that our avodah, he has this lashon in Kodesh and Yanosh Teres Chassidus and other places, mischara neida mehosa. Right there he speaks about Limud Chassidus and Gilui Chassidus. The Chassidus brings Mashiach. So you want to know what Chassidus is, look what Mashiach is. If Mashiach is something, if Chassidus brings Mashiach, so you figure out what the mehosa of Mashiach is, so you'll know what Chassidus is that brings Mashiach. Okay, what's the shaykhs? Chassidus brings Mashiach, very nice. Right? I use $1 bill and I put it in the machine. It used to be $1, now it's $2. You put a $1 bill, you get a can of soda. So $1 bill, the previous is the can of soda. Because one brings the next. Because that's one way for that's it, because there's a disconnect between what you put in and what you get out. When we say B'schar Nedim Mahosim, we mean that Schar Mitzvah, Mashiach is a manifestation. It's a gilui. It is the Metzias, the gilui of what we had earlier. So, there it's very similar to here. There it says that what is Mashiach? Pnimius Atik. So maybe Chassidus is Pnimius Atik. Here you go, Pnimius Akesed. So Mashiach, so Kumteis, that our avodah today, it's not just we do a bunch of things to bring Mashiach. We do a bunch of things that are Mashiach. Right? Minlet Mashiach. Mitut in Yonei Mashiach in order to bring Mashiach. So if Mashiach is this bittul, the mitzad that he's so great, on the other hand, he's able to learn the Menashim Pshutim. So what's the min Yonish Mekarim Ma'arim as B'Yisrael Mashiach Limud Avatz Torah? The second to last line on the page here. Nigla the Torah, Pnimius Torah, L'Kol Echad Gal Menashim Pshutim. That's the first thing. The first thing is a direct correlation. Mashiach learns Tzad Echad the Avos HaMoshe Rabbeinu, yet he's able to have that humility to go learn with the Nashim Pshutim. So for every single one of us as well, that on the one hand we're Megala, and this is part of the Nekudah. This is the two sides. The limud avatz Torah, nigla Torah, pnimis Torah, the deepest secrets in Torah, all parts of Torah, and yet it's l'kol echad gam la'nashim pshutim. We are able to. That we'll go down to this more simple people. Yeah, you go with tzayim and you deal with mamish pashtiyim. Then he adds a word. So this word is mamish the hemshech of the word of Mashiach. Mashiach will learn the nashim pshutim, will also learn the nashim pshutim. But then he adds, and this is the climax of the Maimer, the Yoytz of the Maimer, which is a year ba'oifen da novo bittul. Because with Pashas you could say that what's that novel bittul Mashiach that ever brings from the Friedrich Rebbe? The Chayr that novel bittul b'dik tzechis in them, that's the fact that he learns with an Asum Pshutim. But the Rebbe learns Tifer. No. There's learn with an Asum Pshutim, that's also, that itself is a novel bittul. But then there's the Oifen HaLimud itself is also in the Oifen of a novel bittul begoli. The Hainu. And שהלימוד והפוצת צריך להסלב בשביל העילוי שנעשה על ידי זה והמלמד והמפץ מתלמיד היועץ מכולם, אלו בשביל המקבלים. And in a few words, this is the Teichma of the Maimer about derech shenispair le'el b'inyan bi'adoini. That the learning, the hafotze, is done not for the ilui that a person gets. We have a malamed that teaches the nashim shulchan. So you could say you could do it for the gilui that he gets from the ilui. That what we know when you teach someone that you learn a lot from Rabbi Yisrael, and even more michaveiro. And as we learned earlier, that's what happens in Dibur, right? That after when you talk to someone, you teach someone, after then you understand things a lot clearer. But no, you're not going to do it for that because that's not limud, oifin of tachas anav v'bittul. Rather, b'shvil ha'mekabel. Why are you going out there and teaching them? For them, not for you. For them, not for you. And this is the work of bi'adoini. Right? That Yosef is mashpia, Yosef is mashpia, Zok is mashpia, Malchus mitzad Zah. But no, Malchus comes to Zah, Yehuda comes to Yosef and says, bi'adoini. It should be for me, be. It's all about me, it's all about Makabel, it's not about the Hemshech of the mashpia. And this is what brings this is what brings the Gilui V'Asala. Fine. So in order to reach this Gilui V'Asala, what do we basically have to be selfless. And when you're teaching someone, when you're going on with Tzoyi, when you're on Shlichus, it's not about you, it's about them. A very, very pragmatic, simple Hira. Not say so simple thing, but it's that's the word. So what's the Rebbe saying? So what's the word? Yeah, the Lang Maimer, a very Gishmak Maimer, a very deep Maimer, a lot of Yonim here, right? There was a Malchus, there's a Kelim, a lot of great things going on. And what's the Pele Yitzeh? And what we learned from the Maimer is when you're helping someone, it's not about you, it's about them. It sounds a shtickle, really? Avdem darfen the ganze Maimer? That you shouldn't be a selfish individual and because you should care about somebody else. That's the whole word. No, we can talk about it, right? Sometimes you have that where on the one hand you have the Maila and the case, Maila and the Tachlis, right? The Maimer can read the Gor, and the Hira can be very, very simple and very, very Pashta and Yonim. It's mushrish. But the Betrachter Rangabis on what's going on here, and what's going on in the Maimer, and what's the word that Rebbe is saying here, so for state, it means a Sach Tifek. Right? So obviously, there's obviously that simple read as well. Tracht wegen the Zolas, Tracht wegen Zich. But what do we mean here by Trachten wegen Zich? Right? After the whole Maimer, that's the Shlil of Trachten wegen Zich. Zo, when we say Zo, Trachten wegen Zich, really? Zo is selfish? Zo, that Silas is selfish? So Malchus comes to Zoh and says, Zoh, stop thinking about yourself. It's about me. Wow. Zoh that Silas, the midas of the Eibush there, are Pasha self-centered. Huh?
This part of the Maimer that even Zoh and Mashpir Malchus doesn't even bring the Etzin word up. Meaning, there brings a Hayra, they can Mashpir Zulas.
Yeah.
The Erether doesn't even bring Hayra of just being Mashpir Zulas. They have a whole Chiddush that watch people.
He brings Hayra?
No, it doesn't bring that.
So I'm saying this is the big chiddush here of the Maimer, the Gross. By the Rebbe, everything's about Ma'aseh B'Poyol, everything has to be, it was Agashmi. But the Hira seems like the Rebbe is like, say like you don't even need Torah. Many people can explain to you that care about others. Don't not everyone is here to serve you. You have to think about other people as well. Save the planet, care about. Everyone has a thing that they care about. Now, the emes is then we say that it's nishnazeh, in order to takazeh. It's not that simple to get out of yourself. As we know, the end of Perak Aleph Tanya, right? Somehow Alter Rebbe couldn't leave it till later. He had to put it right in the beginning of Perak Aleph, so that wherever you're teaching, when you do the Limud V'Afon, so Tanashim Pshutim, you only get stuck at the Perek Aleph. So then you have time to figure out how to deal with Perek Beis. Right. So he speaks there about the difference between the Umas Ha'olam and the Yidden. So he's speaking about the koiches that exist, the midas toivis are by a Yid. And what does he say? Where are the midas toivis in the Yid? Which nefesh? Nefesh Bahamis, right? Nefesh Bahamis, that by Nefesh Bahamis of the Yid, what makes the Nefesh Bahamis of the Yid unique, the Umas, the Nefesh Bahamis of a Goy, is that our Nefesh Bahamis has also midas toivis. K'moy Rachmanus, Mos Chsadim, Shabois Mimena, right? We call the Rachmanim and Goyim Chsadim. So Rachman and Chsadim exist in the Nefesh Bahamis of the Yid. Yeah, the Nefesh Bahamis also has Atzvos, it's Gaiva, and Espiros, all those great stuff. But Nefesh Bahamis could also want to do Chesed. And then he says, one second, and Umas Ha'olam, they don't do Chesed. Umas Ha'olam also good people. Was sagt man? Chesed, Umas Ha'olam oisim, ein anel yisyarechol. Right? That's the Member Chazal. Listen, it says Chesed Om Chatos. When Umas Ha'olam do Chesed, it's Chatos. Because Sof it's self-serving. So I'll brings one part of the Member Chazal. Chesed is Lisyair. The Gemara there brings Kama and Yon why the Chesed Om Chatos. It's Lisyair, it's for this reason, it's for that reason, it's Timashach Malchusan, there's all kinds of reasons why they do Chesed. But Tzal Shabbos Rebbeinu, there's an agenda there, you get something out of it. That's the Chiddush by a Yid, not the Nefesh Elitis, Nefesh Bahamis. Nefesh Bahamis of a Yid has midas toivis, real Chesed. What's real Chesed? The Zulas. You're not doing it Lisiyah, you're not doing it for yourself, you're not doing it self-centered, you're doing it for the other person. So, L'chaira, so we're saying here that the basic Chesed of a Yid, Nefesh Bahamis Gereh, is not Lisiyah. Right, you're not doing it in order to walk all around and say, you know, my foundation gave $30 billion to third world countries. You're doing it for the cause. So that's the Bahamis of the Yid, and that's Chesed. Now, to use it's a Kabbalah and Lashon L'Maimer, Chesed is Zah. Chesed is the Yisoid of Zah, is the Shayrish of Zah. Chesed is the, what's Lashon? And they also Kulu Yoyim. All the midas come Hamshech L'Zah to Chesed. Right? Because that's at the core of midas, what are emotions? There's all kinds of emotions and feelings. But when we speak about emotions, right, what's midas are the way I relate to Zulas versus Moichin is the way for myself. At the aside of any kind of relationship, in any way I interact with others, at the aside of that is Chesed. Let's even say Gvura, let's take Gvura in the context of sometimes you have Gvura's hate. Every hateful relationship, at the core, is a love-hate relationship. Why? Because you can't hate someone that you don't love. Love is that point where I care about somebody else, right? It's not just me, there's somebody else here. Again, it's not dibur as we spoke earlier, it's not dibur, and I actually communicate with the other guy, but the fact that someone else exists in my life, that's chesed. Ava. Only after you're important to me could I hate you. Could I fight with you? Could I be scared of you? Without chesed, the zulaf doesn't exist. So at the aside of any midah, this will also be midas hanetzach. Midas hanetzach, I'm going to crush you. Yeah? But midas hanetzach is because there's a zulas, there's someone here that's fighting you, menagid. But a person that doesn't have chesed, a person that doesn't have ava, someone that's very, very moichendik, cerebral, he's a geek, yeah? So there's no one else exists. What's the shaykhis?
Midas is for zulas. Midas is for things outside.
Right. So that's the word. The word is that when you boil down what zulas. So when we say that it's for zulas, what ultimately lies there is this fact. So now I walk into the room, and I'm aware. Right? I care about my surroundings. That care is chesed. Just like dibur is, I leave my metzias. So that's chesed is that it's pashtus. My metzias doesn't finish right. Because the way gvura, what's gvura? Gvura is the aliyah, and it's skalmos within. So how does that work? If gvura is all about going deeper inside myself, right, toward backing up, becoming more introverted. So why would Gvura be mushpa from the outside? Right? Why should it care? It's like I'm backing away from somebody. It's like you're backing away. If you're backing away, or before Gvura, what do you think a person is stacked? Gvura, I go deeper inside. Where are you going deeper inside from? From a place that you don't care about anybody else. Rather, Gvura is a hemshich of chesed. Chesed is that nekudah, other people exist in my life. Okay, now how do I interact with them? So there's the tachas agili of chesed, where it's hashpa b'poil, and feeling of chesed, ave, kiruv, and then there's richuk. But even richuk at the core is kiruv. But you're not nisrach from something that you're not close to. That's not meaningful to you. Anyway, so chesed is the yisoid of zah. So here we're saying that the Rebbe says that chesed lo umim takes chatos, but chesed of yidden is chesed. You're able to do chesed. So you don't need malchus here, right? That's zah. Yeah.
Why can't it be selfish? Why is it always being aware of people all the time?
So back to what I said just a moment ago. Then what? Say why?
So the fact that you're aware of other people that show this thing, you're not only focusing yourself here.
No, I mentioned that Derech Agav to bring out this point that in my we're speaking about Zah, and the Rikar we speak, we're being the Kudah Yisoy. But Zah, explained in Kabbalah and Chassidus Barich, is that the core of Zah is Chesed. So the way Chesed is like the starting point of Zah, all midas are a Giloy of Chesed, and they all come together in Yisoy. So when we relate to midas, if you brought about a certain sphere, we'll either use the Yisoy or use Chesed. So I just brought that Nikudah that at the core of midas lies the word of Chesed, which is that openness, that interest in others. Before we get into is the interest selfish or selfless, right? That's that. But now I'm saying what the Rebbe says in Tanya. The Rebbe contrasts our Chesed of a Yid with the Chesed of a Goy. The Chesed of a Goy is Lisyar, and the Chesed of a Yid, okay, what we're saying is not Lisyar. Like in Mavur, in different places, in the Sichis, the Chayri you see by Yidin, that the Chesed could be ganz Lisyar. The people are they make a great note of putting their name and picture on the man of the year, the man of the Chodesh, that we'll speak about, yeah. Mitzvah Farsing we see mitzvah, but at the core of a Yid, at the core of a Yid's Chesed, there's always that var that really, I do care. They do care. Elamad say there's other parts of Nefesh as well, so you have to calm that down, so you give it some candy, right? Now, you see where the Chesed is that. Now, what it says in the end of Pergal Tanya is Chesed Nefesh Bahamas. It's not very interesting. In Igeres HaKodesh, there Tanya. In Igeres HaKodesh, or right there, it's going to have to be a I guess you did it for the Zulas. Come over. So Igeres HaKodesh, Simen Yud Beis. We know that Igeres HaKodesh is all about tzedakah. So there he speaks about the midas chesed that a yid has, and there he says like this: Udas zois. We know that Yisrael in their teva are rachmanim gem lichsadim, v'pnei heyois nafsheiseyem nimshachos mimidois al yisbarech. Asher chesed goyver ben al midas adin v'agvora v'atzimtzum. We know that by Yidin are rachmanim gem lichsadim b'teva. Why? Because their nefashis come from the midas of the Eibishter, and just like the midas of the Eibishter, even though there's chesed, gvora, teferet, all different midas, but the chesed will be goyver al din l'mayla. Therefore, by a yid, even though we have chesed, gvura, etc., but when we say yidin are chasadim, rachmanim, rachmanim gem lichsadim, right? We're also bali gvura. We have gvura. We're also ketferes rachmanis. We're also natzchadim. Yeah? We have all those other things as well. So why do we say that yidin are rachmanim and chasadim? Because in the midst of the Eibush, their chesed is goyver on other midas. Also, else chesed goyver on other midas. So when we say that the midas of a yid are nimshach from the midas of the Eibush, we're speaking about nefesh l'kiz and nefesh bahamas. Nefesh l'kiz, right? Our neshama is a hemshich and comes from Atzilus. Neshamas are all neshamas. Even neshamas the biyabet, and they're sourced in the midas of Atzilus, in the spheres of Atzilus. So there we say that the midas hachesed that a yid has, ba'etzem, comes from his nefesh halikis. So this is something that the Rebbe discusses kama v'kama igros, and that's something later we saw it also in the Shimis al Tanya, the Shimis Yeres HaKodesh. The Rebbe also discusses it. But the Rebbe says that Shomati Makshin or Minu, the L'cheira had this Perek Aleph Tanya go along with Perek Simini Beis Yeres HaKodesh. Is midas hachesed nefesh halikis, midas hachesed nefesh halikis? Well, obviously we both of them have midas hachesed. But what makes Yid Rachman Megim Lichsadim? Right, all along the Rebbe admits by Shanim. That also the Rebbe explains, because by Shanim is connected to Gvur and something here. Also by Shanim, an interesting word, the Rebbe says that for Keret, we're talking here what the Teva of a Yid. The Teva of the Yid were not by Shanim, we're Azin Shabonis. By Matan Torah, the Torah was Mateshes Koichon and made us by Shanim. But by Etzem we're Azin, which is like by Yidden. You always see that Yidden are always they're always they're on the tightrope between by Shanim and Azin. And or we use the bush in the wrong place. So as is the wrong place. So the vart is because here we're saying in Tanya mitzad teva we're not by Shon. Mitzad teva we're azim. The Torah made us by Shon, and that became a teva sheni. Now, so how do the two go together? Where does what makes us by Rachman and Gemech Sadim? So the Rebbe says in different letters, different ifanim, and the Rebbe says like this: that by etzem we need both. On the one hand, we say it's not enough that the Yidden have the midas harachmanus and chesed in their nefesh b'hamis in order for them to be rachman and gemech sadim. Why? Because just like nefesh b'hamis has chesed and tiferes rachmanus, nefesh b'hamis has all kind of other stuff, right? There's atzlos, and has gvur, has all kind of kodesh. So why should we say that a Yid is rachman and gemech sadim? We have many other things as well. The only reason we say that Yid is a Rachman and a Gimel Chesed is because at the end of the day, the Rachmanus and Chesed overcomes, is miskaber on the other kodesh. So it will be at the forefront of what a Yid is. That won't be mitzad the Nefesh Bahamas. The reason we're that way is mitzad the Rachmanus and Chesed exist in the Nefesh Halikis. And the Nefesh Halikis is Mushush in the Midas of the Eivishter. In the Midas of the Eivishter, Chesed reigns supreme. Chesed is at the top. Chesed will always come in front. So also by us, our Midas HaChesed always stands in front. Mitzad nefesh halikis. Oy bazoy is what's all the Rebbe writing Tanya in Perek Aleph nefesh halikis. What's that nigel? What's the nefesh halikis? The vart is fine. Nefesh halikis could be on a high. Nefesh halikis could be a lot of great things, but stuff where neshama beguf and nefesh halikis. The Rebbe says Perek Chavtes he adam atzma. Right, our conscious day-to-day actions and the way we feel and think. So our nefesh halikis. If nefesh halikis wouldn't be on board. If the Nefesh Bahamis wouldn't have these midas toivus, wouldn't have access to it, then say the Nefesh Lakis want to be a Rachman and a Gimel Chesed. But we don't always know the Nefesh Lakis. So the fact that the Nefesh Bahamis has the Rachmanos and Chesed within it allows the Nefesh Lakis to be niskala through it. It doesn't get in the way of Nefesh Lakis. But this that always the Rachmanos and Chesed will win, and this is what the Yid will always have a starker chesed that overrides his gvura and his other midas, is inside the nefesh halikis. So there's sort of this together. These two things come together. Fine. The poil, even though Bichlal, the Rebbe says this word that the two work in tandem, they work together. There's a minor of where here the Rebbe speaks about Riches, about the Harav, the Rebbe's father, the Vledik, on Simon Yud Beis, Goya might have stuck in Sholem. Speaks about Simon Yud Beis and connects it to Perek Lamed Zayin in Tanya. It says, Goya Maisat stuck in Sholem, Avodah stuck. There's Maisat stuck and Avodah stuck. It says, Maseinu Avodah Seinu. Right? We said here in our Maimer that all the Giluyim of Lasamov are totally in Maseinu Avodah Seinu Achshav. So the Vledik asks, what is Maseinu Avodah Seinu? What's this double lashon? Sounds nice. Our Maisa and our Avodah. So he says that Maseinu Avodah Seinu Perek Lamed Zayin, that this that the Mashiach comes and the Gilui of Lasallah, it comes to our Maisa and Avodah. Maseinu Avodah Seinu corresponds to the Maisa and Avodah of Simon Yud Beis Yeres HaKodesh. What's the Maseinu Avodah Seinu Yeres HaKodesh? So I can get into all the way the Rebbe explains it in the Maimer there is Maisa is when you do something that's mitzad So Chatchila, the way we understand it, this one mice is when you do something that's inside your teva. You're comfortable with it. What's avodah? Avodah is when you break yourself. So Chatchila, the way we understand it here is mice is when you do something that even your Shmahamis is comfortable with, and avodah have to go beyond against you to break your teva and Shmahamis. Do a skat. The Rebbe says, you look at this, she's not speaking about Nesh Bahamas, she's speaking about Nesh Lekis. The chesed that Nesh Lekis has. And there we say that there's two kinds of stuff. There's Maisa and Avodah. So what does it mean Maisa and Avodah? The Rebbe says like this. There could be a matziv that Nesh Bahamas is uncomfortable with it, you have to break it. But yet, it's the Teva of Nesh Lekis. Nesh Bahamas is like a lazy. There's always Nesh Lekis doesn't have atzos v'atzos. And Nesh Lekis is not ruchni, it's a lekis. So there could be something that your Nesh Lekis is comfortable with. But if Yeresh Mahavis is not comfortable with it, but Yeresh Lekis is comfortable, it's still considered Maisa. What's Avodah? To break the Teva of Yeresh Lekis as well. Right? Break the Teva of Yeresh Lekis. The Hainu. There could be a Chesed that Yeresh Mahavis is comfortable with. That's one level of Chesed. But then there's a Chesed that's too much for Yeresh Mahavis. Here we say, okay, Yeresh Mahavis is not uncomfortable with that, but sometimes a person can have a Gili of Yeresh Lekis. That's a Skadra on Yeresh Mahavis. Only sometimes. That's our Avodah, like the whole Tanya. So you magber nafshel lekis al nafshel ba'amis, and then you'll do chesed that your nafshel lekis wants. So you're doing the rest of the neshama. But that could also be ma'aseinu, what the nafshel lekis is called. They go beyond the teva of nafshel lekis. So now like this. So there's the chesed of Perak Aleph Tanya, which is what nafshel Bahamas is comfortable with, and already that is not le'yisyayah, right? Because that's good. But then there's Nesh Bahamas comes and says, Ad Khan, this is something I'm so comfortable with, but there's something that's beyond my comfort zone. Comes Nesh Lekis and says, okay, I can do it. And then there's a place Nesh Lekis is even uncomfortable. But now think about that middle dark, where the Nesh Lekis is Megala Itz Midas HaChesed, and does such Chesed that even Nesh Bahamas is uncomfortable with. Nesh Bahamas over here, that has Midas HaChesed, but it's uncomfortable with. How about that chesed? Is that chesed that Nesh Lekis selfish or selfless? It's of course selfless, Nesh Lekis, but that's not Nesh Lekis. Even the Nesh Bahamas can't be L'Isiyah, and Nesh Lekis. So of course it's selfless. But yet, what's is that even the chesed Nesh Lekis, it's chesed. It's zah. It comes, and the Vader says, right, that this chesed is nimshach mimidois of Yisbarech. What's midois of Yisbarech? Zah. And when Zah does something, it's for Giloyim. Yeah, what did this last week? It's for Giloyim. It's for the Gili, it's the Megala, the Bli Gvul of the Eibishter. So now we come and say, Malchus comes to Zah and says, Bi Adonai. Where are we being shoylim? Right? Which l'chayre, I'm saying it's exactly l'chayre. It's very similar to the Var Dir and Noya Ekev. There's the avodah of the Nesh Lekis going against the Teva of Nesh Lekis. Right. So honestly, we're speaking here about it's a sach tifer and more dakustik than don't be selfish, be selfless. Right? Because let's say Ayagid obviously L'Isyair is mufrich. Fine. So he's not doing it L'Isyair. He's not doing it to boast about it. There's doing it to boast, and there's doing something because I'm comfortable with it. But this is who I am. Isha Chesed. Yes, Avraham Avinu is the dogma that's always brought in Chassidus. Avraham Avinu is the Isha Chesed. Avraham Oyevi, Avraham is the Isha Chesed, and Avraham Avinu is there out there in the Midbar, and he's feeding everybody. He's even to the Arvim that are Mishtachve, La'avach, Shal-Regleim, Rebbe, Mesichim, Chevek Vav, Mesichim, Yidosh, Shmoyis, Birkat Tainim. Then it breaks it down to 3 dargis in the Yerida, to the Arvim, that serve the Avach, Shal-Regleim, or Taksik, what's the Avach, serve the Avach, yeah. How low Avraham Avinu went. Avraham Avinu is there giving to everybody, and then the Levisha takes up a Shemesh, Kechoy Mayoim. It's a scorching hot day, no one can do anything. Avraham should be so happy. He has 1 day of freedom. Never mind, he's in pain because of the bris. 1 day doesn't have to serve anybody. No one's here. It's not like anyone's dying. No one showed up. And no one's going out in the sun. And Avraham is mitzvah. Avraham is in tsar. It hurts him. Why? Because Isha Chesed, his life is Chesed. It's not about L'Isiyah. His life is chesed. That's what he's all about. His identity is to be mischased. He can't be mischased. Who am I? He gives chesed. He has a title. Of course, he's doing chesed for the zulas. He's doing chesed because he cares about the other person. He's not doing it to put his name on a wall. He's doing it for the other person. But what's the motivation for why am I doing it for the other person? Because that's me. That's my shlichus. That's my agenda. That's my zak. You have a sikha, I don't know if the sikha is brought there or it's Mitsuy in there, for bringing Chaf Aleph of Tafshin and Dalet. The Farang is brought, the Maram comes. So, the Rebbe there, Farang Mechlal is mamish a Meiredik Farbringen. It's the Farbringen where the Rebbe introduced the fourth Darga of Shlichus, which changed Shlichus forever. If in Klali, all the years, everyone's got 3 dargas in Shlichus, 3 dargas, and how bottled the Shlichus to Mishaleach. If it's the 3 finding themselves change every sikha, the diuk. But if in Klali, is the Pa'ula you did, is that Mishayachis to Mishaleach? Or your whole Koyach HaMayis is Mishayachis to Mishaleach? Or the whole Shliach is Mishayachis to Mishaleach? How bottled, how little is the Shliach get in the way? 3 dargas in Shlichus. But here, the Rebbe Geret, the Taka, the 3 darga shlichus, the highest darga of Bittul is Merdika darga, but there's another Bittul. We want the mitzias of the shliach. Are you there? Do you care about the shlichus? Are you just doing it because you're a robot? Are you completely bottle? Which is Merdik, but ultimately, the shliach is not an event. We want that the shliach should be a mitzias, and it should be your shlichus. You shouldn't just be a pocket, you should be a balesik. It's your business. Right, a 9-to-5 guy, you work very hard, you bring a lot of money into the business, you're the most successful employee. 5:01, the guy's out, he's on the subway, he's done, he's done with his family. A balesik, when you own something, it's 24 hours a day, you dream about it, you can't stop thinking about it. It's your life. So you have to care, and it has to bother you. Therefore, if you're a dugma, you go, you ask a yid to put on film. So if you just did it because you're a shliach, because you did your shlichus, fine, see, I did my shlichus. I asked him, he doesn't want. But if it bothers you, the guy didn't put on tefillin, and you go after him again and again, because it's your shlichus, it's not the Rebbe's shlichus. Which one? The Rebbe's shlichus was a 180 from the whole Avon of what shlichus is. But the next years, the Rebbe chazred and spoke about barichas. This part is also brought in the sichel and sichlis from this farbrengen. It's a whole nigla sichel there. Of the sugi of shlichus and kedushin. Anyway, so I would ask you like this: when you go from the 3rd darga to the 4th darga, let's say the pachid and the balesik, yeah, the guy that's doing shlichus because there's the Rebbe's a mensch. The Rebbe said to go out of mitzvah on Friday. The Rebbe spoke about bachrim that his time is a limit of Torah. Why do you go mitzvah? He gives a kreft. What's the lashon Rebbe use? I'm a ches. Like wait a minute. At the bottom you go mitzvah because that's what you want to learn. You have to close your sefer to go. You have to do whatever. When you're doing a tzivah from the Sidreinu, it's b'simcha b'tul livav. You don't do it with the kreft. But you're doing it because that's montman. It's not who you are. Yidach Bahamis wants to learn. Yidach Shalikis says go on mitzvah. Right? It's a shtickle, sometimes you have a shamas that tell you. Most blachim b'cher it's farkeh. Some blachim it's farkeh. Yidach Bahamis, it's our geshmak. Yidach Shalikis. Now, so when I look at it and I say, okay, which shliach is more bottle? Because in the Sikha he's speaking about, it's don't just have the bittul, also have your mitzias. The mitzias of Shliach, you care. But in the sprach from bittul, who's more bittul? The guy that's totally committed, kolin yami is lamalis, the kavanah al yoyna, the Rebbe's kavanah, or a guy that already identifies as a whole Shliach, and he has a plan for the day, and he takes ownership. Who's more bittul? In bittul, the first guy. And that's the whole part. That's not enough. The dargas of bittul also need mitzias. But then the shaila is, but there's no way to look at it. Was heist bittul? Was heist bittul? Right, the shliach is in ganzen bottle to the mishaleach. Okay, on the one hand it's bittul, but on the other hand, that's the mitzias of a shliach. What is shliach? Can we say the mishaleach? When we say Zah is doing it, Zah's not self-serving. Zah is not self-centered. What is Zah? Zah is the midas that silas. It's oyer. What's oyer? Oyer is made on moyer. Oyer's whole meaning is legalis l'moyer. Gila l'kos. What is the chesed of the Eibishter? The chesed of the Eibishter is expresses the Eibishter. The Eibishter is the scholar in a way of chesed. Kol Inyoni is the gilui likus. It's not himself. Just like our chesed. What's our chesed? It's a gilui of our nefesh. It doesn't stand on its own. It doesn't have its own identity. It's the nefesh through that. So this shliach, yeah, he's batel, but on the other hand, he's a mitzias. He's a mitzias of a shliach. His whole mitzias, what's his whole identity? I'm doing my shlichus. I'm doing my shlichus. The koyach hamaisa, and my whole identity is an expression, a hemshich of the mishalech. So that's mitzias. It's a mitzias of a oyer, legalis. Then comes the shliach and says, one second, there's somebody else here. Right? It's not just me doing filling my checklist. Doing what I came here to do. No. I actually care about somebody else. So it's a bit of a character, there's an oxymoron here, because on the one hand, we're saying, well, no, you can't just be a robot. You can't just be oil. You have to have hergeshim, you have to care, you have to, which is all number of mitzias, right? There's midas here, there's dibur, there's communication, there's the mitzias of a shliach. There's mitzias here. You're connecting to somebody else. You put yourself into the picture. But le'idach, yeah, that was just a tool. In other words, in order to connect to the zulas, you connect to the zulas, but your mitzias connects to the other mitzias. But we're looking at what's tutzich abda. You left your mitzias of a shliach, and you connected to the zulas. Right? There's somebody else involved here. Bi'adoyim. So in a way, so that's the verb. This Zah needs Malchus to tell it, Bi'adoyni, Zah doesn't know. Zah might even look at Bi'adoyni and say, there's a me, and there's a you, and there's a zulas, there's a kavanah. It's all a kavanah. Right? I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Ich tu mein shlichus, ich tu mein zach. But the MSC is there's something deeper than your shlichus. Right? That's the mitamidei, not mitamidei mikulam. That's the mekabel. The soif ma'aseh machshava tchila. The shoyrish of the mekabel, the shoyrish of the zulas is a much higher space. It comes from a much higher place than the shoyrish of oir. The oir is mein amoir, but it's only mein amoir. It's not the etzem alei. The mekabel comes from the etzem. Now, after the Shiloh, wow, that's pretty great. How could Zah go so out of himself? How could you tell a shliach to stop being batel? Yeah, in a way. How do you change that? So that's what he says in the previous sif from Sif Ches. That's the Shiloh in Sif Ches. That's the Shiloh, right? The Shiloh is how could Zah go out of himself? Right? Well, how could Zah be selfless? Really, that's the base of Shiloh. You're asking Zah to get out of his bittul. Because sof even Zah is mushrish in atzmus. Now, how's mushrish in atzmus? It's at the kavanah. Fine, that's a sugya of its own. We don't have time for that now. But that's in the that sof Zah oichet has a shaykhis to that as well, because that's the real kavanah. Because the real kavanah, the kavanah yoyna is that it should be in the tachten mitzad gidri tachten, right? That the people we help, the people we teach, aren't just there to part of the durchfirin of what our shlichus is. Our shlichus is there for the mekabel. Right? It's not that the Rebbe created shluchim, so because they're shluchim, we have to create people in the world to give the shluchim a job, right? That's his job. This is that we can do their shlichus. No, there's a shlichus because there's a kavanah in dir tachtoin. Kavanah in dir tachtoin. And everything is mushrosh in the kavanah, including Zah. At the end of the day, everything, everything's mushush in previous akesed. Everything starts in atzmus. Gilui also starts in atzmus. It's all elamai atzmus. In order for dir tachtoinim, and so the dir should be a dir mueres, should be a lichtka dir, it has to be gilui, it has to be tachtin, b'chulu b'chulu. But they're all opening part of that goal. Because of that, we have that ability to takar is given sich. And what should be your thing? The mekabel mitzad the mekabel. Not only mitzad that you're comfortable with it, not only mitzad that you know it's your identity, not only mitzad that it's your shlichus. Mitzad mekabel. Okay.
says, "Tweem, say about the same."
Yeah.
And it says about the same.
He brings up the same. Right. So that's the word. We have the word.
I'm just reading my same. I'm just saying.
Masino as well.
Yeah.
Also, the Rebbe and the Maimer explains why do we also need Masino. And some want now Voidish also in a way should come in a way of Maisa that it becomes your Teva Shem. It becomes like you break yourself, you claim a Sichin, a Nes and Teva, Tazria, a Chodesh, Rafish, beginning of Nisman, Tashman Tes. Tazria Tashman Tes. Where do you Sich on Teva, Nes and Teva? The Chibur Nes and Teva, also there's Chelik Tazai, Chelik Yudzai, right? Tazria Chodesh. Right. But here it doesn't go completely this word. The Chodesh mentioned was that there's Tashman Tes, says this word that you have to get Nes, but the goal is that the Nes should come away from Teva. Which says, and that's what Teva is. Teva is Nisim Tmidi, right? You become so comfortable with Teva, it's not Nes anymore. Then you have to have a higher Nisim. So at the end of the day, the same Shemina Oifin of Masein. Break yourself, break your Nefshali kiss. That's the ultimate Masein of Oifin. That's beyond the Teva Nefshali kiss, and that's what brings you, and that's what gives us the Yom. Well, that Maimer in Noya Eker, was saying Masein of Oifin will bring the two levels in Waslavai, the Kufa Shem and the Kufa Shnia. Here, what does he say? He doesn't get into it. He says, what does it bring us to? Okay, that is Adi David, David Abdi, the second Chelik Lamed Hey of the two levels Lasla, right? Melech and Rav. So there also you see it's two kufras. The Abdi David and then David Abdi is Nasr, right? Abdi David is the first kufra, David Abdi, there you go. David Abdi is the Nasr and Loyal, the second kufra. The first Mashiach will be Melech, then the only thing that will stay is Rav. Yeah? It's a meritic of word, don't sit there. The Mashiach has two inyanim, Rav and Melech. Melech will win the wars right in the beginning, and then he's done. That's it. What happens next? Long term, and this is the Tkufa. I don't use it close to the second Tkufa, but the second stage is Tkufa. Right? What's going to be Lo'ilam is Nasi. Melech won't be Lo'ilam, because Melech will be enough, we don't need him anymore. How does that fit with what Chassidus explains? Melech, Lassilav, but anyway, but the Lo'ilam is David Abdi Lassilav Lo'ilam. There's the kasher, the Tkufa will say the same. Fine. That was Marsh's committee, as we call it. Because the word Masein, there should be Masein also. So, should be those we shouldn't do everything as we call it. Tarzan. Oisayem is a Peshuem, is a Sefer Teva Lava. Okay, anyway.